serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me. Lately, get your life. Get your life, get your life, get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me. Lately, get your life. Run up when you see me, no disguises. Keep that thing with me, cause I don't do surprises. J Chanel, show and tell, all facts, no lies, streak. Get your life, cause I'm the type to come to it that mind quick. Eyes on me, what you care for? Watching me, baby, care for. If you ain't a fan, where the cameras? Hide in the back with the bellboys. My circle so restricted. Hands raised like it's your religion. When I sleep, pay close attention. Fake friends out here pretending. Get your life, get your life, get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me. Lately, get your life. Get your life, get your life, get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me. Lately, get your life.
Focus there.
Watch them cause they after me like a pot of gold. I'm not for play, ask Keisha if you don't know. I'm a little bit cray-cray, approach me, you better be right. If you don't come correctly, you can catch these hands tonight. Eyes on me, what you care for? Watching me, baby, care for. If you ain't a fan, where the cameras? Hide in the back with the bellboys. My circle's so restricted. Hands raised like it's your religion. When I sleep, pay close attention. Fake friends out here pretending. Get your life, get your life, get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me. Lately, get your life.
Get your life.
Get your life, get your life, get your life, baby. I got my why you can serve my mind, baby. Feeling me, that's why they killing me. Lately, get your life.
Get your life, boo.
Good morning, good evening, good night, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your nighttime, right time DJ Music here with another episode of the Chop Shop. Hey there, Shar, just as Shar up in the building. Zahara, how you doing? Good to see you, ladies. From all you folks that are in the clouds, thank y'all so very much for tuning in. Y'all saw the title, so you know what we're going to talk about. The miseducation. I spelled it wrong. I'll go back and correct that later on. I'm talking about education and spelled it wrong, huh? Anyway, the miseducation of these YouTube Negroes, and I borrowed that from y'all know who I'm talking about. What's his name? GMT. When he got upset with the brothers and the sisters, he called them Negroes. So for all intents and purposes, I'm talking about the Negroes. I'm trying to educate the Negroes. So why y'all ask, what's about this miseducation? To be quite honest with you folks, I was on Jay Prince's platform earlier. You know, Jay Prince for president. Y'all know who he is. What's up there, Double Dog? Y'all know who Jay Prince for president is. He was over there speaking on matters of black folks and how black folks are basically, especially black men in the military, were no more than butlers. Misinformation, miseducation. What's more troubling is the folks that's down in his chat room cheering him on, saying, yeah, Jay Prince, you're right. Even more that folks will come up on the panel in defense of Jay Prince. Rooster, cockle-doodle-doo, you know who I'm talking about. You might be in the clouds. But I'm not really here to talk about you folks. I'm just talking about the inspiration of why I'm doing what I'm doing today. So, Jay Prince, some of the things that I heard you say earlier on your stream was absolutely, dare I say, I like I asked you on your stream, I hope you was trolling. But it's obvious that you was not trolling. You were dead serious. So much so that you said something about that I said something. So let me go ahead and clear that up right now. The last conversation that you and I had was on Bomb Cherry's platform, where you said that I said that my father, my pops, as I called him, was a general. Never said that and never will never make that claim. I don't have to lie to kick it. I don't have to lie about my father being a great man to impress the likes of someone like you. As a matter of fact, anyone else. What's up there, HT Baldwin? How you doing there, brother? Happy Saturday to you. I don't have to make up things to impress the likes of somebody like you. You are basically, you and folks like you are nobody to me. But unfortunately, sometime in order to get clean, you got to get down in the mud. So today, Jay Prince, I'm going to try and get clean with a little bit of education with you. Some of the things that you said, I don't want to even discuss them. Hopefully, something that I said will rub off on you tonight, something that I say tonight, and some of the things that we'll talk about and some of the clips that I show you tonight will rub off on you. First of all, Black people are resilient. And if that's not enough for you to say, there's some of the things that I hear you saying that calling military men butlers, saying that we speak because I speak a certain way, that I speak like a white man. Or just because someone speaks the proper English, they're speaking like the white man. Or there's absolutely no way that a Black person could hold a position without being educated by the white man. These are the things that y'all cheer on over there. These are the things that y'all will tell Jay Prince, yeah, you're right, bro. You're right about that. Well, if any folks ever seen the movie A Soldier Story, one of the lines that Sergeant Waters says, you know what damage one ignorant Negro can do? Do you know the damage that one ignorant Negro like Jay Prince can do? Its proof is in the pudding. It was 66 people in Jay's Prince. I made it an honest effort to make sure that I saw how many people was in there. 66 people was over there supporting that garbage. In contrast, there was a stream just a couple days about a young African-American kid, Black kid, that got invited to damn near every prominent school in the country. Got over 26, 27 different scholarship offers. Not a stream on it. Just a few days ago, just last week, one of the most prominent Black men in the country, member of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, summarily lost his job due to DEI. But you'll hear Jay Prince say that DEI is okay. But yet we see stream after stream after stream about the big girl who couldn't fit in the car, so she decided to sue Uber. I heard Jay Prince trying to defend these loose niggas that went around and shot and murdered a 5-year-old baby girl. Trying to come up with all different reasons to why they did what they did, other than just what the obvious is, that they ain't shit. Regardless of what the Pops was involved in, those hooligans, those ruffians, those murderers, those animals did not have to take out their frustrations on that child, but they did. And Jay Prince was over there defending that, the no snitching policy. Well, let me say this. I'm not going to snitch on the fella that's selling a dime bag on the corner, but I'll be damned if I know that you raped somebody, murdered somebody, violated somebody in some way, and I knew about it. You can rest assured there won't be no question about who told on you. What's up there, Black Hawk? How you living, man? How you living, good brother? You can rest assured. Hey there, Alex. How you doing, good man? How you doing? Hey, Cyber Dreams, good to see you. You can rest assured that I'm making sure that I point you out. Yep, Your Honor, it was him. Do you need me to come to court? But this is why I say this is what we do, folks. We tend to always prop up the worst of our communities, and when it's called up, hey there, Corey, how you doing, good brother? And when it's called out, there'll be some folks that'll say that you're in a hot plate line. There'll be some folks that say that you're simping for the women. There'll be some folks that say that you're trying to build your channel or this or that. And instead of stating the obvious, there's some shit that needed to be pointed out. Instead of saying, you know what, sometimes we do need to take accountability for the shit that we do. But yet, they'll talk about, they'll say this or that. No, you can't be right about this. I implore all of you folks. I agree with you, and again, Cyber Dreams. I was going to get to that, but I implore all you folks at some point in time. I'm not saying that you have to go over and subscribe to Jay Prince's channel, but I want y'all to go and listen to some parts of that stream that he did today, and I want you to see why some of us do the things that we do. Hopefully, I'll catch one of those folks over there from Jay Prince's chat to say, "Hey, this nigga talking shit. He ain't right. He just over here for clicks and views. He just holding the stream, hoping somebody will hit him with a super chat." It's not being disrespectful. When you call out the obvious, like someone tried to say that I was being disrespectful on Jay Prince's platform earlier, although he was highly disrespectful to me and to all military service members, past, present, and those that might go in the future, saying that we basically was buck broken, like Taz said before, that we was buck broken, that we don't care about our people. We only went into the military to make some money. Well, Jay Prince, I got a couple of articles today. Well, a couple uploads today that I went and personally went and looked at, and I snatched a few of them for you. We're going to start with the Defiant Lawyers. I don't know if any of you folks have heard of them before. If you haven't, I would suggest you go over, like, share, and subscribe, because this gentleman and the young lady, they have their pulse on their finger on the pulse of what's going on. So let me pull up our first video here, and we'll get straight to it. And I will drop the link a little bit later on there, folks. Well, actually, let me do this first, okay? I wanted to talk about the title of it, and the reason why I named the title this: the misinformation of the Negro male or of Negroes. So let's start with this particular stream here.
Wiz Scott back again for the Black History Month curated titles, and here today I have an undisputed classic, right? The Miseducation of the Negro, right? One of the most read, widely distributed books in American history, not just Black history, right? And being that it's Black History Month, it would be disingenuous, or it's just not right for me to have a video series about books in Black history, books that are essential to Black History Month, and not include one written by the creator of Black history, right? Carter G Woodson, the author of this book, is the creator of Black History Month. He created what started as Negro History Week, and it expanded to Black History Month. And he's, in many circles, he's seen as the grandfather of.
Do you understand that? Hey there, Atlanta Love. Hey, Cassandra Brown. How you ladies doing? Good to see both of y'all in here. So you understand that so far, Jay Prince, where I'm going at? Langston Hughes, excuse me, he was the father of what we call Black History Month. Did I say Langston Hughes? Not bad. But let's continue.
Black history. But the Miseducation of Negro talks about how the educational process at the time of his writing, which was published in 1933, almost 100 years ago, but the educational process in America that was not fit for African Americans. And what he meant by that was that many of the black people who become educated in the 1920s and 30s up to the highest levels, right, up to higher education, they were getting an education that did not suit their particular needs for the black community.
Thank you. I meant Carter G. Woodson there. I don't know why I was thinking about Langston Hughes. I guess I was doing a little black history, and I ran across his name, and he stuck it into my head over there. But what he's saying, Jay Prince, now, basically for those folks that was over there, Jay Prince, what he's saying, that Jay Prince, you had a point, but unfortunately you took the wrong side of the argument. If you would have said, yes, the American system is flawed, basically because it does not teach us as black folks. It does, even though it doesn't teach us how to deal with our own. It does teach us, but in the ways of them. And that's the American system. The American system is just that. Hey, ABT, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. It's so to say that what you were saying, Jay Prince, I'm trying to give you grace and say that you had an idea, but you just completely miss the cue. You missed the entire point of your rant or your argument, so to speak. So here we have Carter G. Woodson here, and the book that he wrote in 1933 was The Miseducation of the American Negro, meaning that although there were some African Americans and black men and black women that did go to higher places of education and learning, when they did take it back to their community, what they learned did not help our communities. Now, if you would have came to me with that argument, Jay Prince or anyone else, then we could have had conversation. But the road you took was the road of niggas ain't shit. That to uphold drug dealers, that you actually said that the drug dealers were the real men in our community. Hey, Mel, how you doing? You actually said that, Jay Prince, that the drug dealers were the real men in our communities. And the men that went out to war to defend the country were suckers, saps, and butlers. Y'all let that make sense. Let that sink in for a minute. The men that sold drugs to our communities, that see people overdose and don't care, those are the heroes to Jay Prince and folks that think like him. Instead of going to pick up this book and learn about Mr. Woodson, he decided to go pick up a book and learn about, what's the guy's name? Larry Hoover.
Right, so you have these people that will go and they will get their high school education, get their college education, get these diplomas and degrees and letters behind their name, but then they would come back to their community and nothing about what they learned was practical for the problems they were facing in their families, in their neighborhoods, in their communities, right? And he even makes the argument that not only did the educated blacks not have what was needed to fix their own problems, they were actually better educated and better suited to fix problems from people from other communities, right? So they're almost alienated. Or
again, Jay Prince, you could have had a legitimate argument. You could have said exactly that. I would like to say that, Mr. DJ, that the education that black folks did, it didn't do any good for us in our own neighborhoods. Wouldn't you agree with that? And I would have had to say yes. I would have had to say, you know what, Jay Prince, valid point. And we would have moved on to something else. But yet, what did you do? You completely start attacking everyone, telling us that we weren't shit, we ain't no good, we butlers, and a whole lot of other superlatives that you use to describe us. Because you clearly separated black men from niggas. You said niggas were the strong ones and black men were the weak ones. That we sold out our communities for the almighty dollar. Ain't that some shit, folks? A nigga that holds up drug dealers and high self-esteem. A nigga that pops, because you talk shit about mine, so you know I was going to get you sooner or later. Pops that went around and fathered over 18, 19 different children. that beat this woman out of your own mouth, Jay Prince. I didn't guess, out your own mouth. And you dare to compare that nigga to my father? Take the time, Jay Prince, to go look up what a silver star is. Take the time, Jay Prince, to go look up what a bronze star is. Go look up all those medals of valor, Jay Prince, and ask your daddy, does he have any of them dealing with drug dealers, dealing with hood rats, dealing with vermin? Go ask your pops, if you can, how many lives did he save? How many generations, whether they were white, black, or whatever, that was able to go on because of the valor of my father and several other black fathers. You can't be no more patriotic than that in the face of adversity.
It's just completely unfit for what was needed, right? He has the famous quote about if you control a man's thinkings, you don't have to worry about his actions. If you direct a man to a back door, you do not have to tell him to go to the back door. He will find his way there. And if he gets to the back and there's no door, he will create one. His education makes it necessary.
Not you, Jay Prince. You won't. All somebody has to do is give you a thought, and they control you. Rooster does that to you. Several people that come on your panel do just that to you. Proof in the pudding the other day when you was over on Brownie's channel, and you was talking about your wife or your ex-wife or whatever she is. Somebody tried to help you out, and you couldn't even help yourself up because you had no idea what they were talking about. Hey there, Candy Cane. How you doing? Good to see you. You had no idea of what they were talking about. Lies. Lies. That's what you and your folks over there thrive on, Jay Prince. Lies. Innuendos. It's right, Cassandra, it's embarrassing. And even when you go over to those platforms and try to have genuine conversation with these loose niggas, you can't. It's frustrating. Not only for the person that's trying to get through to these niggas, but the people that are listening. Hey, Brownie, how you doing? I just spoke on you, huh? Good to see you. But absolutely. The way he went, I'm sorry, Brownie, to use you as an example, but the way he carried on your platform and then tried to blame you for it. And there was other men up there trying to tell you that you was trying to cash in on his bullshit. Well, nothing really happened today. I was just trying to, the name of the stream is The Miseducation of the Black Negro. Negro meaning like, you know how GMT says it. Earlier, again, for those who are just coming in, I was on Jay Prince's panel, and he was talking about a whole variety of shit that didn't make sense to me. So I typed something in his chat room, and he dared me to come up. I guess he thought I was scared. I guess he thought I was going to just back off of him. So I accepted his challenge. I went up there, said what I had to say, and I left. And the reason why I went up there, because of the bullshit that he was talking about. That's why I went on this platform. And no, Jay Prince, don't pat yourself on the back. I wasn't watching you. Somebody sent me the link and said, listen to this shit here.
That is a quote that has just lasted throughout the history of time in Black communities, in Black educational communities. And everything that he says now is relevant to today, right? He talks about a curriculum that needs to fit the practical needs of the student versus just a one-size-fits-all sort of just tell the student, give the student remote facts and have them apply that in some profession, right? So one of the greatest scholars of all time, again, the grandfather of Black history, the creator of Black History Month, which started as Negro History Week, Miseducation of the Negro. Your library, your personal library is incomplete if you do not have this and have not read this word to word, word for word, cover to cover, more than once. So check it out, Miseducation of the Negro.
Absolutely, folks. You got to check it out. If you're someone that wants to, that really cares about your history and how you can pass on and how you can connect to, this is one of the books that you have to put in your library. Now, getting back to you, Jay Prince, this business of the white man educating you. Now, what I was trying to explain to you before you cut me off, there's only a certain amount of practical things that you get from grade school, elementary school, high school, and even college that you can carry on into your everyday life. Yes, it is. As far as academia is concerned, some of us go to high school and we pass through with flying colors, and some of us just barely squeak through. I don't think you made it, bro. And there lies the problem. You don't want to be educated. You think that a book has to be handed to you, Jay Prince, and folks that think like you, in order to educate yourself. There's an old song that says, free your mind and your ass will follow. I don't think you've never heard that quote before. Because when you read, there's a whole nother world that opens up to you, Jay Prince. It's between you and the book. You can paint the only picture. But instead, you said, I can't believe that because books ain't right. I can't trust what a book says. That tells me the mark of an uneducated man. And somebody said, no, you shouldn't be talking about him like that. Dumb is dumb. No, I don't believe so. I don't believe he does either. But anyway, folks, I just want to introduce that to you. Carter G Woodson, again, the grandfather, the orchestrator of Black History Month, which started out as Black Negro History Week. Man had the foresight to understand that our history need to be told. He also had the foresight to, this is no disrespect to white America, but he also had the foresight to understand, although we were in your schools and the things that we were learning from you, we could not take back to our communities and use as what they call in the military practical application. So, Jay Prince, what I'm saying to you is, brother, you gotta venture outside the school walls sometimes to get proper information. That's not only Jay Prince, that's with everyone. Everyone needs to venture outside of your high school, college walls to get the proper education about us. Because as we see right now, there's a direct, and folks, you can agree or disagree with me. That's up to you. But as I see it, and I think from judging from some of the folks that I see here in the chat room, I've been around a little bit longer than you folks. So as I see it, there's nothing more different than me being a young boy and my parents telling us that we can't go down here at this time of day than now. There's no difference between making sure that you had yourself mapped out to where you wouldn't end up in one of these sundown towns, literally. And what they're doing now under despise, what they're calling DEI. They told us back then in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, as far as history is concerned, they told us back then that we are a substandard to them. And Jay Prince, you're echoing that same exact sentiment by saying dumb shit like that. Education is feminine. Saying dumb shit like that. Well, let me go and grab our next clip here, folks, and we'll be right back. Let me put this on mute here, so I'll be silent for a minute till I pull up the next clip.
Americans have fought in every major war the United States has waged since its founding. For centuries, they've proudly and valiantly answered the call to military service, giving true meaning to the word patriotism. Soon after the first shots of the Civil War were fired, enslaved black people started heading for Union Army lines. In doing so, they helped to force the issue of emancipation onto the nation's agenda.
It's not clear the Union is winning the war before the Emancipation Proclamation. And so this added force of 200,000 African Americans who wind up serving is crucial to the Union edge in coming to victory over the Confederacy.
Do you understand that, Jay Prince? I heard you say earlier. Now look at these black soldiers here. That's probably, folks go watch, I think this probably the 107th Regiment. I do believe so, the first black colored regiment, as they say, colored regiment. But Jay Prince, these are the men, mostly teenagers, that said, you know what? We're going to help America fight its war. Because when we get to the war, once we lick the South, then we'll be able to get our freedom. Because we're fighting for the same cause now. But it's obvious it didn't turn out that way for us, Jay Prince. Because right after we helped them kick ass, what happened? They tried to subjugate us back into slavery. 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, Jim Crow laws, all these different things that they threw in front of us. Again, your argument should fall flat on a whole lot of people's ears, but it doesn't. Because I see it resonates in your chat room. I see people cheer you on. I see people saying, Jay Prince, you're right. And you're actually no closer than the truth than that mop that you got on the top of your head. Is that a man unit? What is that? The fuck is that, Jay Prince? Because see, what I don't take, Jay Prince, I don't take disrespect lightly. You disrespected me and you disrespected my pops today. I'm calm, sir. And you can ask any person. That's the worst man to deal with. A man that's upset and calm. Because he's thinking of a way, I'm going to get this, I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? I can step over to Niggerville if you like. If you like, I could step into Niggerville at any time.
Despite the Union's victory in the Civil War, within a few decades after emancipation, Jim Crow segregation pervaded every aspect of American society.
Did you understand that, Jay Prince? Every aspect of society. He might, that's what it looked like to me. Every aspect of American society. So not only for you, Jay Prince, for those other folks that I hear out there saying that put yourself up by the bootstraps, like the Republicans are saying right now. Every part of society. Jay Prince.
And the military was no exception.
Hey, Amiri.
During World War I, enlisted black soldiers served in segregated units and were generally treated as inferior to their white counterparts.
Still, when World War II erupted 2 decades later, African Americans mobilized once again.
The war
Still, Jay Prince, even after they lied to us the first time, African Americans still mobilized themselves. That's called patriotism. That's what that's called. I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. I don't know. He might have, the way he talking. He might have been over there with what's that guy's name that said that the Klan used to bring him and his grandmother turkeys on Thanksgiving. Where they do that at?
emboldened African Americans who are fighting overseas and those who are left behind to demand victory over fascism abroad and victory over racism at home.
Shortly after World War II ended, mounting pressure from the black press, the black public, and civil rights leaders pushed President Harry Truman to issue an executive order desegregating the United States Armed Forces in 1948.
And there it is again, Jay Prince. So to answer those questions that you and a Rooster were saying, that what did black people do? Here it is right there. The pressure that black people put on the president of the United States to force him, saying, hey, something got to be done. Was it an economic boycott? I don't know. Whatever it was, pressure busts a pipe, sir. And who was applying pressure? Black folks that you said that we just sat around and let them just do what the fuck they want to do to us, Jay Prince. And we had no spine. But it's those same black men and those same black women that was out there on the front lines, Jay Prince, whether it be at war with another country or at war with this country, to force the president of the United States to take action to integrate the military, although we already had fought in a war. For those of you who don't know, go look up Moffett Point and see what the significance of Moffett Point is. I do believe now it's called Camp Geiger.
African Americans went on to fight with honor in every subsequent war in which the United States has been involved. In 1991, the heroic service of black soldiers came into sharp focus when Vietnam War veteran Colin L. Powell became the first African American chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And in 2020, the United States Senate confirmed General Charles Brown Jr. as the Chief of Staff of the United States.
Now, this is who I was referring to earlier. We had stream after stream after stream after stream about the big girl who couldn't fit in the car. You remember that? How many streams was done on this gentleman here? How many? Anybody know? Little to no mention in the black community that this highly decorated war veteran, highly educated black man lost his job because somebody said he got their birth to DEI. Jay Prince said, what does it take to be a general? So he tried to liken a military general to a drug dealer. He did that today. No, actually, I haven't, Alex. You'll have to inform me about that one there, my man. But this is what he said today. Like I said, I don't want y'all to think I'm making any of this up. I want y'all to go over. Like I said, I want y'all to go to his stream and listen to the stream that he did today. Listen to what he says. Listen to the people that agree with him. If the chat if the chat is available, look at the folks in the chat that's cheering him on. It goes back to exactly what I was saying before. We as a community, if they call it that, we're quick to uphold the worst of us.
Air Force, the first black service member to lead one of the nation's military branches. Still, while more than 40% of active duty service members today are men and women of color, the upper ranks of the nation's military remain predominantly white and male.
And then I can tell you that for sure because I was in the military. I'm sure Devil Dog Joe down and anyone else that was in the military. We had to shine, didn't we, Joe? We had to shine much brighter than our contemporaries, as they called us, light green Marines and dark green Marines. The dark green Marines had to outshine them. We had to make sure our PFTs was damn near perfect. We damn near had to go to the rifle range and shoot expert. We had to take all these MCI courses and all this stuff. And all the light green Marines had to do was be himself. I can't imagine how many people got promoted before me to the rank of sergeant that I know should not be in that position. So for those of us that's been in the military, is there racism in the military? You damn skippy it is. But that don't stop us. That's why I started this off with that we're resilient. That's the part that gets me. ABT. Just a couple weeks ago, because see, Jay Prince, I don't have to hold my tongue over here. Just a couple weeks ago, you was over there counting up how much money you was gonna get from your daddy. So, Harry, you was in the Navy too, so you know exactly what I was talking about. Your daddy, meaning Uncle Sam. How that working out for you, Jay Prince? Nigga on welfare. How that work? That's my point. We'll pay attention to that guy right there that will talk shit waiting on his next check. I guarantee you, that general, this highly decorated general, money is not one of his concerns. I bet that. Well, excuse me while I sip on this coffee here for a second.
The long history of black military service demands much more. African Americans have always willingly and courageously answered the call to duty, and all levels of our military should honor those sacrifices, reflecting the full range of diversity in the phrase, "We the people."
He even threw that at me, folks. He said, "Well, in the Constitution, it only says that we three first of some." You heard somebody say that, huh, Jay Prince? Because, folks, I asked this loose nigga, this uneducated nigga, who Clarence Thomas was. Y'all type down in there. Let's see how many people know who Clarence Thomas is. Type it in. Type it in. Who knows who Clarence Thomas is? I know. Don't type it in, folks. I'm only pulling your leg. But he did not know. He did not know who Clarence Thomas was. He did not know. Now go back and look for yourself. That's why I want you to go over there. That's right. 1 or 2. I'll take the 1, ABT. I got to be careful how I answer your questions. But this is again, that's Black history in 2 minutes, Jay Prince. All it took was 2 minutes before you went on that stream. Before you went up on that stream, Jay Prince, 2 minutes to find this and play this instead of that bullshit that you were playing. I know it's too early. That bullshit you were playing earlier, that shit you were saying earlier. Black history in 2 minutes, folks. It don't take much. I suggest that again, you go over to it, type it in Black history in 2 minutes, and have it a part of your whatchamacallit, your what's it called in things, updates, or your 4-2s, or whatever they call it. So you can get your Black history moment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you want. Sure enough. See, CJ Prince. See, this is the stuff that folks know about you. Folks know that you're not educated, but instead of trying to educate you, they'll just cheer you on. So you think I'm being disrespectful to you, but actually, my brother and folks that hang out over there, I'm trying to give y'all a little bit of education today. I really am. I really am.
Got back again for the Black history.
Let me remove that. Now let me pause this again, folks, and let me go and grab up a next clip here. We'll be right back. Hold on just a second.
Before we get started, please go over to.
As I said earlier, folks, this will be the first of two clips that we'll use from the Defiant Lawyers. So what I would like you folks to do when you have some time, please go over and check out the book if you want to buy a copy of it. I know ABT, but just because they don't care, we still got to do what we got to do. I don't know how many times ABT, you and I tried to do streams on about Project 2025. Nobody paid attention. Now look what's happening. Dead up on us. But anyway, folks, if you're going over and check out the book over there, and I mean, if you got a couple free coins, I suggest that you buy this. If you have if you have a young black kid, a black boy in your midst around you, go check this book out. Check it out. So let's go.
Amazon.com and grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice. If you have an African-American son in public school, you need this book because I teach you the many ways that public schools mistreat African-American boys and what you can do to help your son. So go over there and get your copy immediately.
Absolutely. Tabitha, hold on just a
Kendrick
second.
Lamar.
Absolutely there, Corey. Tabitha Speaks is in that very, she has a pretty good political channel. Again, if you folks would be inclined to type in Tabitha Speaks, go check her out. You can make your decision whether you want to follow her or not. But I suggest that you do. She's on the ball. So y'all check her out.
I said they not like us. And guess what else? They cannot beat us. They cannot break us. They cannot destroy us. Why not? Because we African Americans descended from brave, courageous, heroic, and tenacious people. Our history is filled with story after story after story of us overcoming the hell of white supremacy. And what I'm going to share with you today is one of those stories. It's a story of victory and resilience, but it also reminds us that our struggle is not over until we completely win. So 60 years ago today, our people bled on the infamous
Jay Prince. Yesterday was the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. Did you even mention that? So that those fellas, those group of black men, women, and children was met with dogs, guns, brutalized, beat. And what did you think? They said, nah, we ain't going back on that bridge again. They went back, although they knew what they were going to be up against. Jay Prince, Rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo, nigga. They still went. They still went, Jay Prince. For someone like you to sit up on a live stream 60 years later and to try to discredit what these folks did. Someone like you is sitting around waiting on a welfare check. The reason why you're getting that welfare check, Jay Prince, is because of them very same people that you see in this picture right here. Bloody Sunday. 60 years ago yesterday.
Edmund Pettus Bridge. It was March 7th, 1965, what we now call Bloody Sunday. It was to accomplish two things. First, it was in protest to the brutal murder of a young black man named Jimmy Lee Jackson. He was a 26-year-old church deacon from Marion, Alabama. He was helping the move.
Now, this part goes out to all the folks that talk about the young rapper that got unalived. I'll use that term. This man got unalived for just simply being black. Simply for being black. Church going. They're worse, aren't they? You said it right there. Melanated Klansmen. That's what some of you folks sound like. Melanated Klansmen. Jay Prince, that's what you sound like. Rooster, that's what you sound like. For some of you folks that are here over in other panels, this is what you sound like. Melanated Klansmen. This man gave up his life for what?
Movement in a voting rights campaign. Second, they use his death to push harder for voting rights. So on this day, 60 years ago, 600 black men and women were marching for the right to vote, and they were met with batons, tear gas, guns, vicious dogs, and men full of hatred. They were beaten, trampled upon, left bloodied on the pavement. Some thought that it was the end, but they don't tell you what.
And Jay Prince, what's the significance of that right there, Jay Prince? The significance of that some of those people that was on that bridge, they still could be around. They could be in their 70s now. They could be in their 80s now. But some of them, a lot of these people, are still around, Jay Prince. So these are the people that you're disrespecting. Those very same people that was on that bridge 60 years ago yesterday. Y'all ran out. We had stream after stream. Oh, the guy that got shot, the rapper dude that got shot. Man, it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Hey, you play with matches and you let it burn too long, sooner or later, you're going to feel that heat. Sooner or later, you're going to feel that heat.
What happened next? For some reason, this isn't emphasized. Our people went back to that bridge, and ultimately we won. Black people have beat worst, and we're still here. That's because they can't beat us. On that Sunday morning, John Lewis, Hosea Williams, Amelia Borton, and hundreds of others walked out of Brown Chapel AME Church in Selma, Alabama. So you see, the church, the black church, has always been a part of our struggle. They marched toward Montgomery.
Now, I know some things I say that's going to be unpopular there sometimes, folks, but in this case, I look at the black church in two ways. I look as a hindrance, and I look at it as a help, because we can go to some cities and damn near every 100 feet, 200 feet, there's a church. But we still got people that's homeless, living in shelters. And when they turn to the church tells them first, we need to get us a $65 million helicopter so I can go out and spread the word. The church tells them first, drop them tithes and let me see how much you made last year before we can decide whether you're going to be a member of this church or not. So again, Jay Prince, there was a point that you could have threw up some criticism, which would have been a fair point, but you didn't, because it's lack of education. Very sexy red, how you doing? It's lack of education amongst folks like you, Jay Prince. That's why you can't stand up against people like me, other folks that come over to your platform. I forgot the brother's name that was up there today, but you kept cutting him off, and he was asking you some of what I thought was some pointed questions as well. He was giving you a whole lot of pushback. But instead, every time we gave you some pushback on something that you should have had to at least taken into consideration, what do? You disrespected me or you disrespected him. We're going to get to that as well there, the HT. That's exactly what they're doing. That's why I say it's an all-out assault on Black history and Black people, folks. All-out assault. Well, I'm not really talking about him, very sexy red. I'm kind of making references to, I was on the Jay Prince's panel earlier today, some of the things that he was talking about. So I'm not really talking about him. I'm just making references of why I'm doing this stream in this particular manner. But he was a catalyst for it, believe me.
To demand their constitutional right to vote, a right being stripped from them by racist policies and intimidation and violence. Listen, the 15th Amendment had given us the right to vote 100 years earlier. But as they reached the Edmund Pettus Bridge,
the 15th Amendment gave us the right to vote 100 years earlier. But here we are. Now he's going to finish it. Here we are on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, about to be beat up, shot at, choked out, slammed. I don't know if you folks ever experienced tear gas. That is an unpleasant experience. It seems like every orifice that could leak leaks. What's up there, Rudy? How you living, brother? Good to see you. But again, getting back into this idea of what Jay Prince was talking about today, that black folks are scared, that black folks cower down to white people. So far, Jay Prince, and what about what I've showed you? What about anything that I've played today gives you any representation that we as black men are afraid of white folks, that we cower down to them?
state troopers stood in their way. They were armed with clubs and tear gas and whips, and they were ready to send a strong message. And they attacked those marchers. John Lewis got his skull cracked open. Amelia Borton was beaten unconscious. Men, women, and children were trampled under horses, suffocating in clouds of tear gas. And for what? For daring to demand what was already theirs. The images of that day shocked the nation. But here's what most people don't realize. That wasn't the end of the story. No. Because 2 days later, on March 9th, 1965, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led thousands of people back to that same bridge. They courageously knelt in prayer, refusing to back down. They did not back down.
And that is the point, Jay Prince. For every time you say that we cowered down to white folks, no. I always use this. Discretion be the better part of valor sometimes. And for those of you that have been in the military, sometimes it's called, going back and as Brownville says, excuse me, recalibrate yourself. Find out what you did wrong. And how, in this case, that's what the folks did in 1965. We know what we're up against now. I don't know Black Hawk. He says music. Why do Congress still have to vote for our right to vote? I don't know. That's a valid question there, Black Hawk. I really don't have an answer for that. I wish I don't want to even begin to guess why. I don't know. But again, here we are. We're talking about 100 years before the actual civil rights movement kicked off. Here is in the 15th Amendment, the Congress gave us the right to vote. But here we are in 1965, still fighting for the same damn thing. But the key to that, Jay Prince, still fighting. Didn't give up. Didn't quit. Said we got our asses whipped. They put them dogs on us. We're going to stand in line now, Master. We're going to stay in line, Mr. Klansman.
Because they can't break us, and we have beaten worse. So on March 15th, then President Lyndon Johnson gave a speech to Congress, and he identified with the marchers. In fact, during the speech, he repeated the civil rights slogan, "We shall overcome." And then on March 17th, 1965, President Johnson went further and he submitted voting rights legislation to Congress. And then on March 21st, 1965, Just 2 weeks after being brutally beaten, our people marched again. They set out from Selma to Montgomery, a 54-mile walk. They were determined, and this time they had federal protection. This time there were tens of thousands of marchers with them.
Jay Prince, when's the last time you walked 54 miles for anything? 54 miles these people walked, although they knew that some shit could happen to them. But I hear you over there, Jay Prince, saying that shit like slavery didn't exist. So I guess the good lawyer right here, the defiant ones, I guess he's wrong too, huh? I guess he's just pulling your leg too, huh? I guess he is just a butler too, huh? I guess this man of education that's been a lawyer for over 3 decades, 4 decades, is just up here pulling your leg, Jay Prince. I have my theory on Trump and Elon Musk, and I'll share that with you folks a little bit later on.
And on March 25th, 1965, they reached Montgomery victoriously. What did their suffering produce? Well, that same year, on August 6, 1965, Congress passed the Voting Rights Act of 1965, securing the very right that marchers were brutalized for, and that we today utilize to pick the representatives of our choice. Yes, they beat us, but they couldn't stop us, because black people have beat worst, and they cannot beat us. They cannot break us. They cannot destroy us. Now here we are 60 years later. They're not using nightsticks and horses anymore, dogs and fire hoses. They're using voter ID laws.
They're not using sticks. They're not using grenades. They're not using dynamite. They're not using dogs. They're not using horses. They're using the laws now. Under the guise of what? 2 years ago, it was, what did they call it? I forgot. I'm trying to think of it right quick. Like it was DEI. Then it was being woke. This woke agenda that's being passed on to these police. What did DeSantis say? Florida is where woke comes to die. Basically, what he was saying is Florida is where black people, uppity black folks, come to die, because they described woke like they described us. Being woke was directly attached to black people in that negative connotation, but not the way we meant it. Stay aware of your surroundings. Stay aware when you drive at night through these sundown towns. Be aware of what hotels that's safe for you and your family to check into. Be aware of what places that you can stop in your travels to use the bathroom. Stay woke, brothers and sisters. But as with everything, all it takes is the right amount of people and the right yassa balls, the right Sambo, the Candace Owens of the world, the Jason Whitlocks of the world, to come in and tap dance. The Jay Princes of the world to come in and tap dance for the white supremacists. I'm not saying for white folks. I said for the white supremacists. Because believe it or not, there's a whole lot of white folks out there that do not believe in this shit here. And there's a whole lot of white folks out there, folks, if it not been for the courageousness of some white folks, yeah, you just never know. You just never know. But you don't hear them. These are the folks that they're trying to wipe out of the history books, folks. Let's go.
Racial gerrymandering, felony disenfranchisement, and the SAVE Act, to name a few. They're closing polling places in black neighborhoods while flooding white communities with easy access to
made it illegal to pass out water in Georgia. Y'all remember that? Made it illegal to pass out water if you were standing in line. Made it illegal. We're not talking about 1960. We're talking about 2016, 2017, 2018, 2020, 2021, 2024. And some folks will say this don't exist. This kind of stuff don't exist, folks. All y'all need to do is pull yourself up by the black bootstraps, black folks. Y'all had a black president, didn't you? That just goes to show you that things have changed over the years. We do.
The ballot box. They're banning black history from schools because they're afraid of the truth. They're using the Supreme Court to gut the Voting Rights Act, the very Voting Rights Act those people bled for, but they still cannot beat us. And just like in 1965, they want us to believe that we're hopeless, that we're in a mess that is irreversible, that we may as well give up and just let fear keep us from doing anything to push forward our progress.
Y'all remember at one of Donald Trump's rallies when he was talking directly to black people, he asked black people, well, what y'all got to lose? Why not vote for me? Project 2025 shows you exactly what we got to lose, starting with this voter rights stuff, starting with the attack on black people, diverse equity and inclusion. That's what we got to lose. He went around at this last election there, the brother on the street, so to speak, that was running around just doing interviews about to the brothers, why were they voting for Trump? And a lot of them came up with the same answer. We got that check. We got that stimmy coming. When Trump get back in office, we got that stimmy, huh, Jay Prince? Our rooster. We got that stimmy coming. You let a what do you call it, constitutional entity convince y'all that $5,000 was on the way, that they found some loose money somewhere for the American taxpayer, been cheated out for years, and now we're going to send it back to you. Well, y'all let me know when y'all get your 13 cents, because that's about what it boils down to. 13 cents that they're going to eventually end up sending you, not 5,000. Go do the math. Go look for yourself.
They want us to believe that we're powerless, basically, that we can't win. But I came to tell you today, that is a lie, because we've beat worse, and they cannot beat us. They not like us. They cannot destroy us. Because if they couldn't break us then, think about it, they won't break us now. Black people have beat worst. And if you don't believe me, let me take you to the scriptures. How did our people remain courageous and resilient in the face of virulent white supremacy? Here's how they did it. They depended on God. They knew they were not marching alone. They marched with the courage of Moses, who led the Israelites out of Egypt. They marched with the faith of King David, who stood gallantly in front of Goliath. They marched knowing Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. And today, that same courage, that same faith must continue to guide us. They tell us America is too racist to change. No, we've beaten worse. They say voting doesn't matter, that it doesn't change our situation. No, we've beaten worse. They tell us justice is impossible. Then explain why slavery ended. Explain why we were able to get rid of Jim Crow.
Explain it, Jay Prince. If you saying that we just sat back and let white racist America just run all over us, explain why slavery ended with the help of some good white folks. Explain why Jim Crow ended. Explain why we are now talking about releasing people that got jammed up under that 80s crime bill, 90s crime bill. Why are such things as the Innocence Project and all these different things sprouting up? Go ask Marvin Hayes whether the Innocence Project worked. Marvin Hayes would probably still be in jail right now if it not been for good black men and black women. Yeah, it's a personal story. I don't know Marvin personally, but I know of his plight. But even through the face of adversity, Jay Prince, we always come up. We always stand up, no matter what these racist folks come at us. Raid our houses in the night. Take our women and children, sell our children from up under us because they had a bad day. You ever heard of the Casual Killing Act? They had to pass that law to stop mean, nasty white women from killing these. Don't want to sound disrespectful when I say this, but killing the bastard children of these slave owners and overseers that was out there raping our women's. They had to pass a Casual Killing Act to give white women, mostly, a pass. All they had to say was, well, the child spoke in a different way. The child said, looked at me the wrong way. That's why I beat him to death. Do you know how nasty you got to beat a child to death? Do you know how much hate and discontent you have in your heart to beat a child to death? But this was what's going on. Yeah, I'll tell you about some of the laws that they passed to so-called protect us, but they won't tell you about the laws that they passed to protect them.
Explain why Black Wall Street rose again. Because we've beaten worse, and they cannot beat us. Now the question is, what are we going to do? What is this generation going to do? Because those
All right there, folks. I'm sorry about that. A little internet slippage. Give me a 1 or 2 down in the listening lounge if you folks can hear me, please. If you don't mind, 1 or 2. Give me a 1 or 2 there right quick. Like, my bad. Can you folks hear me? Are we back? 1 or 2. There we go. We've got a 1 or 2 down in there. I'll tell you what, let me Just in case the internet wants to act up again. You folks that want to come up and join the conversation, you're more than welcome to. I got 2 more clips that I want to drop, and then we'll pretty much be done with this. A 1 and a 2 and a ABT, come on up. Anyone else that wants to come on up, hit the link. Please, let's try and keep it on topic here. Listen, if you are a troll and I do not recognize you, you're not going to come on this platform. You're not going to come over here. I'm going to let you know that right now. So if you're one of them folks that got this wild hair up their ass and want to talk to me about whatever, it's not the day for it. Catch me on another time when I got time to play. Okay? But not right now. I ain't got time for that shit. Now let me go pull up another clip right quick. All right, hold on just a second. I'll stay right here. I think this is the clip that I want to use here.
Get started, please go over to Amazon.com and grab a copy. I hope you're doing well. Hope the rest of your week is well also.
All right,
okay, so do you all remember back when Trump ran for the presidency back in 2016? He was in Detroit and he asked African Americans, what do you have to lose? Your schools are no good?
Do y'all remember that? Remember when Trump asked it, and how many of the black YouTubers, the so-called YouTubers, the bigwigs, ran with that story? Trump was right. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? Well, y'all see what we got to lose. Project 2025 ain't no joke. These 4 folks did what? How long's Trump been in office now? Back in office now? Under 2 months, a little over 2 months now. January, February, March. Look what he's done already. Look what they've accomplished already. Look what they've done already, folks. So imagine they got 3.5 years, or a little over 3.5 years to finish what they started. I said Trump learned from his mistakes in the first time around, folks. He learned what he could not get away with. He learned to only put loyalists around him, those people that won't turn coat on him. Chances are he probably got some dirt on a few of them.
Your neighborhoods are no good. And it felt like he was basically saying, and you all are no good. So what do you have to lose? I mean, that's just the way it felt. But anyway, he asked us a direct question. All right, 8 years later, what have we lost? The list is long, but I want to focus on one thing today, and that is the Brown versus Board of Education case. We are about to lose it. How? Because MAGA has co-opted it and weaponized it and are now using it against us. Believe it or not, the case that Justice Thurgood Marshall argued before the U.S. Supreme Court got all 9 justices to rule that segregation is inherently evil. And that opened the door for African American people to attend the school of their choice. And when that domino fell, the segregation domino period across the country fell. And that was regarding basically everything at that point. Now they're using that case, that seminal case, that landmark civil rights case. They're now using that against us. They who? MAGA. Trump and MAGA. They're literally using the case to protect white men. You see, Trump and MAGA are in office fighting for white men, not black men. Why black men are sitting home, not voting, or voting for Trump makes no sense. because he and they, MAGA, are clearly voting for and protecting white males.
Clearly. So, Jay Prince, this goes back to you. I wanted you to hear this clip because you said that Trump had, and some other folks have said Trump had black folks' best interests at heart. That they prospered under Trump. There it is right there. I'm not saying it. I'm not the first one to say it, and I won't be the last one to say it. Trump does not give a damn about black people. He does not care about black people. If you go back throughout the history of him, folks will always say, well, I know what you're about to say, that they wouldn't allow people to live in their apartments. Shouldn't that be enough? Shouldn't it be enough? But why do I have to tell you more about Donald Trump? Shouldn't it be enough that his pops attended several Klan rallies? Shouldn't that be enough? Shouldn't it be enough that even his own butler, that was somebody that was around by his side from childhood to a grown man, said that he's a racist? Shouldn't that be enough? Shouldn't it be enough that people that carry the same last name as him, the same surname as him, says that, yes, he is bad for the country. Yes, he is a devout racist. Shouldn't that be enough? Why do I got to get up on here and quantify how fucked up Trump is for us when you already got people doing it? You won't listen to me because I'm hating on Trump. But you won't listen to the very folks that grew up around Trump, that's in his inner circle. What's her name? Omarosa found out the hard way. Remember how she had Donald Trump's nuts in her mouth? What happened? Byron Donalds found out the hard way. Now he thinks he's about to be the governor of Florida. Not understanding. We know about you. We know that you're a fraud. We know that you wrote bad checks. We know that you cheated on your wife. We know that you was out there running around doing shit that you weren't supposed to be doing. We know you wrote bad checks. In the state of Florida, you really believe that them folks in Florida is going to elect you? Tim Scott, you got up on the platform, The View, and looked at all them black women on there and says, inherently, racism is really dead. I am a black man that came from the streets, the humble beginnings in South Carolina. The humble beginnings. And we rose to prominence. No, you didn't. If what you're doing now is called rising to prominence, Tim Scott, I respect the position, but I don't respect the person holding it. Now, if you want to talk about DEI, we can talk about it.
And they're using civil rights laws against us to protect white males. I am not exaggerating. This is not hyperbole. These are the facts. Now, we're going to turn to a November 2nd, 2023 letter that America First Legal wrote to NASCAR, alleging that NASCAR, of all people, were discriminating against white men. Yes.
NASCAR. Y'all understand that? For all of you, CJ Prince, when folks say something to me, it sticks in my head. So you know how poignant what this is about to say, because I spoke to you about this earlier. Said NASCAR. If you think NASCAR, you automatically think white. That's somebody. When we hear about a NASCAR driver, a black NASCAR driver, it's a phenomenon. It's a one-off. But now here in this letter that he's about to talk about, you're hearing white people accusing NASCAR of racial discrimination. How? Good question, Black Hawk. Let's find out.
That literally happened. Here is the letter. You see the logo there, America First Legal. This is a nonprofit. In fact, they'll explain it in the letter. Let me let the letter speak for itself. But they never stopped fighting after Trump lost in 2020.
Never.
They never stopped fighting for white men.
Never.
And again, I got to underscore. Black men, you're fighting for a movement that's fighting against you for white men, not for you as black men. Now, if you're willing to help them fight for white men, they will throw you out some crumbs. All right? They'll throw you out some crumbs just to keep you on board.
Candace Owens found that out. Byron Donalds found that out. How many of those Trump folks have now finding out? I guess I can talk about the Hispanic population, because the majority of them, their males counterparts, voted for Trump. How does it feel to know that he kept his promise? That he said he was going to send y'all back? Huh? He said he was going to send y'all back. What do you think? He was kidding?
But it should be clear to the most unread person. Just use your eyes and look at what they're doing to see that they're not fighting for you.
Jay Prince.
They're fighting for white men. In courts, the school, on the streets, I've been fighting for my people. So I am not a Democratic shield. I am not even a Democrat. And yes, the Democratic Party angers me and teases me off. But the way to deal with the Democratic Party is not to let the GOP win elections. It is to take over the Democratic Party. We have the power to take over the Democratic Party. That's the way we deal with the Democrats. If your issue is the
And absolutely, I'm not sure if he's still here or not, but Amiri he ran for a particular position in the government in his wherever he lives. I won't mention that, but again, because he did not, the election didn't come out in his favor, and I'm sure he's not going to stop the good fight. You had folks over here on these YouTube streets saying that he was wasting his time. Hey, LA Project, happy belated birthday to you. Y'all make sure y'all go over and like, share, and subscribe to the LA Project, and anybody else in here, folks, that you know has a channel. Listen, I know it's hard to understand sometimes when I say this is a coordinated effort, folks. It really is. It takes people like me. It takes people like you. And it takes those that not only those who hold streams, but those who listen to these streams, because we big up these people. Now, I don't mind shouting out the LA Project. I don't mind, and be quite honest with you, don't mind shouting out someone like O'Shea Dukes Jackson if he does the right thing. But this is going to take a concerted effort to do what this man is saying. Red Sleeper Cell, what's up with you? How you living? How you living? This is going to take a concerted effort. It is. It really is. And if we always got to go over to this stream to correct these people about this and that, instead of you folks taking this information and running with it, you'll call me a name. You'll call Amiri a name. You'll say that Amiri's buck broken. You'll say that DJ Music's buck broken. You'll say that all these brothers out here that's trying to point you loose niggas in the right direction, that we're wasting our time, that we're butlers.
Democrats take us for granted and don't come around and don't really want to be around us until it's time to get votes, etc., etc., etc. Name your issues with the Democrats. Well, we can take over the party and put a stop to that. But I tell you this, the GOP, the grand old party, what used to be the party of Abraham Lincoln became the party of Jefferson Davis, according to Senator Trent Lott of Mississippi, they're not going to lift a finger to do anything for anyone other than white men. And if you try to do something just for black men or black people, they're going to fight it tooth and nail. Reparations on down.
That's right. Reparations on down. And again, I'll say this, and again, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it's my opinion on reparations. Until, if we look at the definitions of reparation, it means to repair something. In order for you to repair something, first you have to acknowledge that it's broken and that it needs to be fixed or it needs to be compensated. Until white America comes to grips with its own past, black folks will never see reparations until they comes to grips with some of the atrocities and some of the people that they hold in such high regard. Take, for instance, Thomas Jefferson. Go look at some of his writings on how he described a woman that he had several children with. George Washington, they say he was the father of our country, but the man owned slaves. Was he morality out of the way? Was he good? Yeah. But how can I judge you any other place when you, as a man that wrote a constitution, that helped write a constitution, that fought the British for your freedom, had 300 people that you held as slaves?
Some of you said back during the election, before the election occurred, who gonna vote for Kamala when she says she ain't gonna do something just for blacks? Folks, I've explained to you so many times, but let me tell you again. In this political climate, you couldn't get a grape for black people. You couldn't get a grape. You couldn't get a dozen of eggs for black people because the GOP is so weaponized and radicalized against black people. And
it's just not me saying that, folks. It's not this gentleman here saying that. A lot of folks are saying that the GOP has definitely stepped up and ramped up its idea against black people. And Donald Trump, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you think he's pulling all the strings, I don't believe so. I don't think the man's his full mental capacity is there to do some of the things that he's doing. If there's not a teleprompter within reading distance of him, he's fucked. If he goes off script, he's fucked. And we've seen it several times. And when he goes off script, he's fucked. J.D. Vance had a hot mic situation where he said that he didn't want to sit through down there hour and a half speech, 2 hour speech listening to Trump, his own vice president. Just said that.
Have been for many, many years. That's why she said that. She knows the legal realities, as do I. And by allowing them to stay in office, the GOP, you are allowing them to weaponize more and more and more laws against the African American community. Let's go back to this letter. This lays it out. America First Legal. This is Stephen Miller's organization that he started after Trump lost in 2020. And they do mostly just fighting any kind of civil right or DEI program, because in their minds, that harms white men. Although white men clearly are in firm control of the country. For example, of all the wealth in this country, black people cumulatively own less than 5% of this nation's wealth. This is 170, 50, or 60 years, I can't do the calculation right now, after slavery ended. 1865. All right? Even after slavery ended, we still own less than 5% of this country's wealth.
So when folks say, pull yourself up by the black bootstrap, black man, what's the bootstrap? What's the bootstrap? When you own, as a collective unit, have access to less than 5% of the wealth of this country. What bootstrap? What bootstrap are we talking about pulling up, tying up? Are there cases of successful black men? Absolutely, absolutely positive. But for the majority of us, this is what we're up against. For the majority of us, this is what it is. 5%, less than 5% of the total wealth of this nation, the richest country in the world, as they say it. And we only get 5% of the pie. 5%.
Additionally, Fortune 500 companies, the CEOs, 85% are white men. Only 1% are black men. S&P 500 companies, white men occupy 66% of board seats. Black men held 5%. In 2022, white men constituted 58% of college professors, college presidents. Black men represent 8%. As of 2023, white men made up 60% of active federal judges. Black men comprise 10%. In 2022, white men held 70% of top editorial positions at major news organizations. Black men, 5%. Tech companies. As of 2023, white men occupy 74% of executive roles. Black men, 3%. In 2023, white men made up 80% of executive committees and major banks. Black men, 4%. So the Stephen Millers of the world want to keep systemic racism in place. In fact, they deny it even exists, while at the same time fighting every effort to see black men and women increase even a little.
And you can't argue with those numbers, folks. Go look it up for yourself. If you think this man that's on the screen in front of me, if you think I'm just whistling Dixie, go look it up for yourself. Go look at how many black CEOs there are in this country. Go look at how many black millionaires are in this country. Go look at how many black men, black women are in positions to make laws. Go look at the House of Representatives and go look at the Senate. Go look at your local politicians and see how many of those folks on your school board are either white men or white women. So I'm going to ask Jay Prince and those folks over there that agree with you, Jay Prince, where is the equality? Because y'all act like y'all got all the answers over there. Y'all act like y'all know what y'all talking about over there. That we just some old humble ass black folks that don't know better. That we don't try our damnedest to come up. How can you come up? I mean, sometimes you can't even get in the fucking door. All right, folks, let me give you another pause here. Again, I think I got one last clip here, and this is going to be concerning, unfortunately. I'm sure some folks might want to come up with this one. Unfortunately, talking about the young girl, the 5-year-old that lost their life. And I wanted to go find someone that could more communicate, could give some kind of idea to the people that I'm directing this to. So I went and found a young man. He's probably, if at best, he's maybe in his middle 20s at best, I would say that. But I, again, profound what he says, and I want y'all to listen to this. He's doing an update, and so for some of y'all might have just heard this for the first time. So I'm gonna say it: breaking news. Hold on just a second. Let me pull it up.
No, we got an update on little Ronnie. We know one of the suspects, Adonis Robin.
Okay, folks, for all you don't know, okay, we can go ahead and leave that alone now. ABT, I see that you wanted to come up and talk about Dr. Umar, so we can do that after I cover this here. And anyone else that want to come up and bring up a subject that's going to be germane to the conversation here, that's fine, because I feel that Dr. Umar is germane to the conversation. So you're more than welcome to come on up. If I don't know you, I got to check you out and see who you are, folks. Okay, I can't just let any of y'all loose niggas up here no more, man, because I saw what happened last time. That's not going to happen again. That's not going to happen again. But anyway, y'all listen to the young man here.
Has been arrested for the crime. Adonis Robinson, the scrub, who has been arrested. But there's also another update of the getaway driver, who is a female, who also got arrested. And we're going to talk about something.
Jay Prince, you really thought you was going to be off the hook that quick? Because this is part of your no snitching policy. This is what you tell black folks to do. If we see crime going on in our neighborhoods, don't say nothing. Don't snitch. Don't snitch. But I want you to see what happened. I want you to understand, because of that so-called no snitching policy, there's a young lady out there that's about to ruin her entire life behind chasing one of these so-called niggas that uplift the community. That's what you told me. That these niggas uplift the community. These drug dealers, these murderers, these gangbangers, they uplift the community. So let's see what the young brother has to say about that, Jay Prince. You can't call this man old because he's younger than you.
Smash that like button. There's more in the updates. There's a lot of breaking news for this update. First of all, they got arrested 75 miles east of Houston, Texas. They were in Livingston, Texas when they got caught. So yes, they were trying to flee, maybe for the borders, trying to go to Mexico or something. And the getaway driver was a woman. Not a regular woman. Her name is Kayla Maria. I hope I said it correctly. Kayla Maria. If I don't say it correctly, let me know in the comment sections, because we got to make her famous. So Kayla Maria is supposed to be babysitting her friend's baby. Her friend went out of town. I don't feel like uploading the video. I'm normally good at receipts, but 100,000 YouTubers are going to post it.
Facts.
But the friend went but we can pretty much have this conversations. We know everything that's going on. At least I do. So hit the like button, share this video. I'm about to break it down to you. So Maria, friend, went out of town on a vacation or whatever, out of town. Kayla Maria was supposed to watch the baby. Now, instead of watching the baby, she decides to leave the baby alone to go get the guys and drive them away and help them to avoid police. Now, this girl knows these dudes just killed the baby, just killed little Ronnie, and she still wanted to crash out and help. And not only help them, but avoid taking care of her.
I want y'all to understand what he just said. She knew that these men that she went and picked up, that she left, I don't know how old the baby was, that she left a child unattended to go pick these niggas up after they just murdered a grown man and a 5-year-old child. She thought that was the best thing to do. So again, it points back to exactly what I'm saying. When I ask you women, why do y'all, what word am I looking for here? Support niggas like this. Because this is obvious. Jay Prince said that these guys are heroes. So I'll ask for all you women that go over there and support Jay Prince. This is what he says is okay. He can understand why those guys ran up on him. And no, nobody in the community should say anything about it. This is what this guy said on his platform today. Go look for yourself. This is what he said today. Now, there's some real brothers out there, Jay Prince, that completely disagree with you. There's a real brother out there that's going to speak to, hopefully, to the younger generation of men and women. Because, Miss Lady, what the hell was you thinking about getting in the car to go pick these niggas up?
Her friend's baby. I mean, it makes sense Maria wouldn't take care of a baby when you already helping guys kill a young 5-year-old girl. To make matters worse, we learned from little Ronnie's, the mother of one of his kids that died, you know, the 5-year-old. She says she had just dropped the baby off to Ronnie, well, the 5-year-old to Ronnie, 6 minutes before they got blitzed and killed.
Now this same loose nigga up there saying today, well, I don't think they meant to kill the baby. Yeah, they did. They followed that kid. They followed that man. So there's no way that you can tell me that they didn't stalk that man, that they did not see that mama, that man was putting that child in his car. There was not happenstance that you find somebody at a car wash. Does it happen? Yeah. But it was not happenstance that they were dressed to shoot. They were dressed to kill. It was not happenstance that they had the Dracos and all this other machine firepower with them. It was not happenstance that they found that man. They followed him till they could get a clear kill shot on him. If you folks go listen to the video, of course you won't see much, but you will listen to the number of shots that they shot at that man and that baby. And folks gonna try and tell me that was happenstance. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Any place was the wrong place and the wrong time for him, according to them loose niggas.
6 minutes. So this girl, Kayla Maria, hang on, we're going to say her name properly. Y'all hold on with me.
All right. And I agree with you. We got to expose it. Folks, like I say, sometimes you got to put the trash out. That's the only sometimes to get clean, you got to get dirty. And if we listen to folks like Jay Prince tell us, don't tell on these niggas. Jay Prince drew a clear line in the sand of what he think is a black man and who he thinks is a nigga. He rides with them. He thrives with them. He says that is the way, that this is the way America should be. All right, brother, you back? Come on.
Her name is Kayla Maria. I ran inside to say the name correctly because we got to talk about it. It's prevalent to the situation. So many of our females are crashing out.
Why?
So many of our females are so masculine, anger, filled up with testosterone, missing a lot of estrogen in their body. So much of our females are degenerates, they're bad mothers, and they're no good. They're expired. And ladies, if it don't apply to you, close your mouth and let it fly. This ain't your show no more. I'm not Kevin Samuels, but rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. This ain't about high value men or nothing like. In fact, this is about high value fathers. High value fathers. These degenerate women, and we talk about the men every day because I know some of you ain't nothing women are going to be like, how come you're coming at women, black women, this and that? Shut up. Shut your mouth. It don't work here. We uplift women here. We don't even make content on melanated women. But today we are.
Sure enough. I can tell you folks without any hesitation or any reservation, I made 2 streams about black women. When I say, and not in a favorable way. And I regret that to this day. Why? Because they still fucking with me. Because I called out the fuckery of some black women. They still fucking with me. They still fucking with the other folks that was involved in it. They still behind the scenes talking shit about how they gonna get me. because I decided to point out something that some folks were saying and doing wrong. There are some ain't shit black women. And like my man says, if it don't fly, they're not talking about you, then you know we're not talking about you. But if you mad right now, he's talking about you. Because that would be the same thing that y'all would tell me or anyone else, any other black man that says, if you got mad about what Cynthia G says, you part of the problem. So don't come at me now talking about, oh no, don't come at this young man now saying you're bashing black women, because Cynthia G said if we were mad about what she was saying, she must be talking to us. That the hit dogs will holler. So let's reverse it. Sometimes you gotta get down in the shit. That's some ancient black women. There's prime examples of ancient black women. There's prime examples of ancient black men. Excuse me, niggas. Prime examples. So he's about to go in for a little bit. Y'all listen.
It needs to be said. The loudmouth, ghetto, trash, ratchet doesn't exist here no more. You're not welcome on this platform no more. You're not welcome anywhere in our communities. We should ostracize you and banish you from the community. You should deal with banishment. To see you type of women who are always around the lowest form of men that could be in our communities. You women praise them, you fight for them, and you do everything God knows that's underperforming as a woman.
Is he wrong? Prime example is Jay Prince. Prime example is Angry Man. Several black women over there hold these two niggas up in high esteem. Several women over there that if Tommy Sotomayor jumps on the platform, hey Tommy, I don't mind that you calling us hair-hatted hooligans. I don't mind. Yeah, I'll come on your OnlyFans and sleep with you. I don't mind. And you get mad when somebody call it out. He's right. The loudmouth, the day of the loudmouth ghetto broad, the day of the loudmouth ghetto dude, them shits is over with. That's who we paying attention to. We doomed. Get them.
For them. You have kids with these nothing dudes. In fact, you get aroused and turned on by these type of men. Men who can't even take care of the kids they have with you turn you on. So many cases of women backdooring men. Of women being caught up in these...
Again, folks, is he wrong? We all know exactly what happened over there. Huh, Brownie? We all know why all those folks was over at your platform that day, huh, Brownie? Not to say that you're not a good content creator. But when Jay Prince came over there and what's her name, Flora came over there, folks came to see a train wreck and they got it. I'm not blaming you for that. I'm blaming them two niggas. Because that's who he's talking about right now. Y'all can like Flora all you want to, but I got to call a spade a spade. She is who she is. Because there's no way in God's green earth, Flora, that you're going to tell me that you didn't know who Jay Prince was. But yet, you ended up laying down with that nigga. So that's what he's talking about right now. That's who he's talking about right now. I don't think he even knows Jay Prince. But the shoe fit.
Atrocities and these murders, and we laugh about it like it's nothing. And the law, there is no real justice. The law turns around and turns a blind eye so as long as that woman goes to court and tells on that man. And what's unacceptable about the law allowing these women to get scotch-free or only 10 years or 20 years only, 13 years only, 5 years only, or just probation. What's crappy about that is the law never needed their cooperation. The law never needed them to tell on their no good men's boyfriends, friends, whatever, because they had enough evidence established to get everybody arrested. So why are we keep favoring these type of women? Why is the law protecting women who have done absolutely nothing for their communities? Women who are just as culpable and guilty as the dudes who unleash their sickness in a community. Why are these women getting a get out of jail free card? Kayla Maria, you are trash the worst way. The hell with your family. And them scrubs, Adonis Robinson, whatever his name is, he's a sexual registered offender. One of the dudes on YouTube got mad at me and said he didn't touch no little kids. Why are you lying about like that? Number one, it says sex offender. I don't care if it was a kid or a grown woman.
Facts. I don't care if it was a kid or a grown woman. You're still a sexual predator, and you should be dealt with that way. You should be dealt with that way. I know. It's deep. But you should be dealt with that way. But again, we've heard on some of these panels that where there's several of these dudes that knowing that some of these men are predators, but they still give them a pass. We still see it. And y'all know I'm not lying. I don't need to call them out. I'll agree with you, ABT. I'll agree with you. Niggas love them ghetto women. Why? I don't know. Let me see here. Are you timed out there, Cyber Dreams? Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can. I don't think you are now because I see your link and I clicked on it and it says it's asking me to put user in timeout, Cyber Dreams, but I don't know. I don't think you are now, so I do apologize. I think someone timed you out earlier, but my apologies for that. Yep. Let's see. No, I don't disagree with you. Niggas do. Me personally. ABT, grab the link. Come on up here. Let's talk about that before I get up out of here. Come on up here. Grab the link. Come on. Grab the link, miss, and come on up here. Yeah, this is a good time to bring Umar into it. Indeed. But I get what you're saying there, ABT, but to me, it's always that thing, the garbage in, garbage out. You know, you are who you are. Me personally, I find nothing attractive about a loud, as the term that he used, ghetto woman. I find nothing attractive about that. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Your homeboy Robinson is out here doing crimes to women. He's out here touching women and forcing himself on women. They said in 2019, he was convicted of grabbing and forcing himself on a woman. He's only 24 years old. That's why I don't care about the law trying to protect young dudes. Give them the penalty, maximum penalty, because that doesn't even work. I'm from Florida, where they give 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds 10, 20 life. That's what we have down there. It's called a 10-20 life.
And I don't know how many of you folks ever heard of George Steiny. He was a 14-year-old kid here in South Carolina that was accused of something that he did not do. They executed George Steiny. George Steiny was so small that they had to put phone books up under him so they could execute him. 14-year-old kid.
Deals. You're going to get 10 years for being involved in any robberies. If you use a gun, that's going to be 20 years. If you shoot the gun, whether you hit somebody or not, that's going to be life. And that still doesn't work in Florida or any other state. I'm looking at every other city I visit. So many homeboys of mine got friends doing 30, 40, life. Nothing slows down the crime. It doesn't scare these new generation of people, because when the OGs aren't even able to guide the young ones, you need to look at the OGs like they never were good to begin with. Show me a good OG in our communities. I think Charleston White said that earlier on Say Cheese TV, and I'm like, he's correct. None of these OGs have ever been good. They've always been the trash in our communities who take young dudes and make them crash out. Take the young boy and say, you got to get this charge over here. Or you're not going to do a worse time than me. You're going to get a least amount of time. But what they don't tell the young dude, that's a criminal record that's going to hurt you in life. You're not.
Well, see, this is what I'm talking about, Jay Prince. If you'd have came at that argument with me, we could have had conversation, and I would have said, you know, in some cases, Jay Prince, you are absolutely right. There are some old niggas up there, and guess what, Jay Prince? You're gonna be one of them old niggas that this brother's talking about. You're gonna be that old nigga that ain't shit that they're talking about. Notice how it didn't affect me, because I know that doesn't affect me like that. Notice how what he said, I could have said, oh, no, he ain't no, sir. Because I know he wasn't talking about me. He was talking about niggas like you, Jay Prince, that ain't shit for the community, that go out there and get these young boys out here, make them do crimes, or get them to tell them that it's a part of their manhood to go do a crime, and not telling them what's going to happen to them. County jail is a hell of a lot worse. County jail is a walk in the park when it compares to going doing that federal time. The average, did I say it like this? The average time that a man is assaulted when he goes to a federal prison is less than a month, less than 30 days before when he steps foot into that facility, he's SA'd by somebody else, another man. So that was always my question is why somebody like Anton Daniels would have the booty warrior on his platform. Why would you uplift a nigga like that when you know he's a rapist? When you know what he's done to black men in prison, but you still had him on your platform for ratings. Couldn't be nothing more, nothing less, because there was absolutely no educational value in the booty warrior. But you had him on your platform.
Going to have any advantages that friends in the suburbs or any other communities have, because now you have this record that's going to be following you everywhere. OGs don't tell them young boys that. They tell you go crash out, do it for the team, take one for the team. And now you got these sorry ain't-ish females out here doing the same thing. And it's been like that for the last 20 years. We got a new generation of females that just nothing, bro. I mean, we've been had nothing females in our communities, but I'm talking about the new ones who are willing to kill, cheat, and steal, living this type of life. This Kayla Maria, you're involved in getting a 5-year-old girl killed. And now you're going to say she's not the shooter, she didn't shoot, but you were a willing participant, and you also was willing to help drive them away, knowing they killed a 5-year-old girl. It's one thing if you don't want them to hurt you or do anything, but you could have said no. I doubted they would have hurt you at all. You were in love with these dudes. You didn't care about who they hurt, who they harmed, as long as you can help the men that make you bust that nut, right? As long as these men can sexually satisfy you in bed, nobody else matters in the world. Not even a 5-year-old girl. Y'all gonna tell me I'm wrong. You're dismissed. I'm never wrong about the truth and reality and what we live in and how we live.
Well, again, in this case, young man, you are right in some cases. There are some men out there that use this. I got it, because I'm going to play it on both sides. I'm not going to blame women and just not speak on the men at the same time. And I think that's probably the pushback that you're going to get. But you got these men that are pussy whipped that will literally go out and kill another man over a woman. You have men out there like that. You have women out there that will literally go and kill another woman over a man. We have them in our community on both sides. We most certainly do. Mel, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. And here she says this, folks. Men created the culture that women follow and pass along. The numbers are unbalanced. The bad men have lifted have lifted up debauchery and good and bad, good or bad, it will be followed and not changed. Period. I agree. Because here it is right here. Here it is right here. Although this young man, although he means well, there's some things that he could have eliminated from this, or some things he could have said a little bit on more of a fair paradox. Because debauchery is certainly does not know any sexual. It does not have sexual preference. Does not care if you're male or female. Debauchery is debauchery.
People telling me they caught the bad guys. It don't matter if they catch all of them. That 5-year-old girl ain't coming back. Little Ronnie ain't coming back neither. No matter what he did, no 5-year-old girl should have been the consequences of his action at all. The community always says we protect women. Kid, no, we don't, bro. I heard Charleston White saying that too on Say She's TV, and I agree with him. He said the community don't protect women and kids, and they don't. They never have, because the same loudmouth preaching about protect women and kids, he's the same loudmouth when his homeboy Pookie kills Samantha down the street, who's only 2 years old, because they don't talk about the little babies that get killed too. He's going to hold and protect Pookie from getting caught and getting arrested. He's not going to enact justice to his homeboy. So all that preaching thing gets thrown out the book because it isn't our culture. Our culture is very violent. The American culture is violent and black community culture is violent. There is no good and majority of all of us. Maybe only 10 to 15% of us are good. I'm going to be honest, bro. People could get mad at me, but the fact that you're mad I sit there lets me know furthermore only 15% of us are good people.
Now that young man, I will completely disagree with. I think there's a whole lot more good black people than there are bad black people. Unfortunately, we prop up the bad. We talk about what's the Sexy Red and what she did on Martin Luther King's birthday. We saw what she did. We had stream after stream after stream about that. Again, we saw her in what's the girl's name, Sukiyana, when they was in front of a chicken place, screaming at the top of their lungs. We saw how a young drill rapper, went into school instead of preaching the ills of getting an education. He tried to tell these niggas. He went up there citing murder raps. Well, whenever you're ready to ABT, come on up, because you're absolutely right. And I would like a female voice to say this so they can't say I'm a simp. So they can't say, oh, you know what I mean? So let me look at some of these comments here. And you're right. Men do shape the way we look do our community in our communities. Here's a prime example of, y'all remember the BET late night, what was it called? BET After Dark. Remember, no one was sliding credit cards up the crack of women's butts before tip drill video. Now it's standard operating procedure. She got to be as scantily clad as she possibly can. She got to have less than nothing on, and you got to be willing for these men to ogre you and touch you and call you everything except a child of God for your 15 minutes of fame. But guess who created that culture? We did. Because they wasn't taking just the average. They wasn't taking the average looking black woman. Now, I don't say that to be disrespectful, but they was taking the girls with the 34, 24, 36 beautiful face. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about, the video vixen. It wasn't, as they say, it wasn't the so-called beauty challenge females that was in these videos. There was some gorgeous knockout girls in these videos. So now everybody's doing it. Everybody's on TikTok showing up some cleavage or some meats or some butt cheeks. Everybody does it now. It's part of the culture. Started back from the tip drill. Started back from booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Booty, 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 booty. Oh, no worries there, ABT. If you can't make it tonight, don't worry about it. You got a family over everything we do here. Family over everything we do here. Hey there, Shar. How you doing? How you doing?
Glad to be off work. How are you?
Glad to be off work. All right, let's see. See this, and this is what we do, folks. Come off work, and then you come to a platform. No, just kidding.
And you
So
say
how's it?
hello.
Right. I know. Of course, I told you the next time that I saw you, I was going to tease you. How's the weather in Chicago?
Oh, it's burning up. It was a high of 51, I think, today.
50.
Yeah.
That's burning up.
Yes. In March, yes.
It was a balmy 72 degrees here today, sun shining.
Oh, that's summer weather here. Okay.
But wait a minute. Just a couple of days ago, if I looked at the weather forecast, wasn't it snowing up there?
Yeah, we had a little snow. No,
A little
yeah.
snow?
Yeah, it
Just a
didn't
little.
even stick.
Didn't stick?
Not at all.
Just inconvenienced, right?
Yeah, just blowing around. That was it. Nothing much.
Okay. Well, look here. I don't know how much of the video that you heard or what we talked about tonight, but
Nothing.
okay,
Unfortunately.
this young man right here, he's kind of laying the blame, some of the blame on the ride or die chick that ABT says that a lot of us black men won't. Would that be fair?
Yeah, that would be fair.
And again, I don't want to know what I don't want to guess at what you know about the murder of the 5-year-old child or whatever. I'm sorry that my man lost his life, but that's not my concern. But again, you hear that there was a young lady that left 6 minutes after the child was dropped off. Well, however it goes, I'm kind of mixing it up a little bit. That left her house with another baby that she was supposed to be taking care of to go pick these loose niggas up.
Didn't have their own car. I mean, what's the story?
Apparently not. I don't know what they had. I know they didn't have no getaway car. They can't be too smart, can they? That they committed the murder, and as far as they got was 75 miles away.
Oh wow, I haven't heard this story. This
Yeah,
must
this
have
is.
just happened, maybe.
Yes, it's updated. It's about 3 hours ago. 3 hours are updated.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Well, I see. I haven't seen this guy around here in a while. Charles Faulkner, officer of the dang law.
Hey, Charles, long time no see. Hey.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, folks, can we? What do you think, Shar? Do you think we can blame women for everything?
No,
You think that's the easiest thing to do?
no, and why? I mean, for what reason? For crime, poverty? I mean, what is the thing here?
I don't know. That's the question. That seems to be the most prevalent question. It seems to be that everyone is saying that when you go over to the different platforms, it's the women's fault. The women are the cause of the downfall of the black community, because, as Jay Prince said today, that they put the black man out of the home so they could get welfare. That's what he said today.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. I always, like to ask questions because I never heard of anyone put out and their name is on the lease. So I'm not certain how that goes.
That's what I'm asking. And let me take this off the screen here. Sure, where am I at here? There we go. I think we had enough of the young man talking here. Let me do this. There we go. But again, correct me if I'm wrong now, but I mean, several platforms and several times that we've talked, we've seen how people have said, well, that the direct correlation of what's wrong with the black community can be handed directly over to black women who chose welfare over their black husbands. Now, again, I don't you don't have to tell me, but I know you're at least over the age of 25, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so in your 25 plus years, Have you ever come across that situation to where a woman just kicked someone out of the house because so she can get food stamps and welfare and AFDC?
No, and even a couple of people that my family may have out of town, I haven't heard that either. I haven't heard of it.
Now I haven't either. I mean, I got a pretty good sized family there, Sharp. I've got a lot of brothers and sisters. And my mom's had a lot. Well, never a whole lot, but my pops had brothers and sisters, and they were pretty prolific when it came to the next generation of us. So, but I never heard any of my uncles or any of my uncles' friends or any folks that was around them saying, "Hey, my wife put me out because she wanted to get that. She wanted to get that government surplus."
Surplus. I've heard where a man been kicked out the bedroom. He had to sleep on the couch because he had cheated on the woman and she wasn't comfortable with him. I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's fair though. I mean, that's fair. I mean, I've been kicked out of bedrooms for less than that. So I'm okay.
So I've heard of that before, but you know, I don't know. I always ask questions. I just want to understand it. Um, if that did happen, I go back to, what year and how did they communicate that?
Valid questions. What year did this happen? How can we quantify that? There's got to be some paperwork on it somewhere that says that you folks, you black women, got to be some kind of metrics that we can go and look at. Wouldn't you agree? Since it's so prevalent,
Yeah, it should be something. And
right?
where did the guys go?
That's good. Another good question. Once y'all got kicked out of the house, where'd you go? You just sleep on the street? What you do? And that's another good question there, Mel. What were these women supposed to do? They were just supposed to sit back and wait for you guys for some of these black men to go out and get jobs. We're talking about the Vietnam era since he brought that up. Some of the black men came home from Vietnam. There were no condition to work, whether it be self-indulged by drugs or whether it be through an injury or PTSD.
Mm,
So which
yeah.
part of that should we blame black women for?
I don't know. And I'll say, if see, so I'm the type of person I don't argue. I really don't care that much to argue. So whatever you say is right. So if that's right, okay, now what? That's all I can say. Okay. So you're right, because I know I can't prove the opposite. So what happens now? What do you want now? So I don't know. I don't know what's next. What
Well,
happens next?
right. Well, Mr. Faulkner, I'd like to hear your when you say that's a small amount of men, meaning what? So you're welcome to grab the link there, sir, and you can express your point to what you mean that's a small amount of men, because that's not what I'm here. That's not what I'm hearing, at least not in the confines of where we travel in the YouTube streets. That's not what I'm hearing.
Hmm. Yeah, the young man that you were playing the video when I came on,
Hmm.
was he mentioning anything like that?
No,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
no.
but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't understand it. And again, if that happened, I'm just wondering how was it communicated? Because I remember being in the 70s, we had a rotary phone.
Hmm.
And at that time, I'm trying to think, was the operator, did they get on the phone? Because I used to play on the phone as a little girl. So I'm trying to see, I think the operator used to get on the phone. I don't know how expensive it was then. I think the minimum wage in the 70s was
Two
$2.65.
dollars and 75 cents.
Oh, 75.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I can't imagine a lot of people having home phones and how did they, circulate this information saying, hey Lisa, a stranger, I got your number on this, I don't know, were they even able to vote at that time? Because you would have a voters list.
Ah. Well, I know it wasn't. I don't. Well, could we vote in the '70s? Yeah, yeah, we did have the rights to vote. But was there opposition? Yeah. Could women have bank accounts in the '70s? No.
Okay, so I,
Yeah.
I kind of doubt if there was a list to call, just people around different cities and say, hey, are you married? Okay, you can get some food stamps and get rid of your husband. You gonna do it? Okay, and hang up the phone. I mean, I don't know how this communication was.
I don't. It does not make sense to me. And I'm looking at some of the conversation that's going on in the thing there. So let me just say this. I see Charles puts this up and he says, "So why are they slumming for fathers?" I don't understand that, Charles. What do you mean slumming for fathers? What do you mean by that? So it's
Slumming
basically,
for fathers.
yeah. What does he mean by slumming for fathers? You mean that? Do you mean single mothers? Are you trying to say that a single mother goes out and choose uh, bottom of the barrel?
And then you know what? I think about nature. I go back and I remember the little. I write, the boy he writes a note, or I write a note, and we throw it at each other,
Mm-hmm.
saying I like you, you like
Mm-hmm.
me.
Check the box. Right.
Yeah.
Check yes or no. Yeah, I remember that.
And then you had maybe when you were a teen, early teen, you might let the boy feel on your booty, something like that. But I don't recall. I mean, that's just some things that you did naturally that you like who you like. And then when you got older, a little bit older, and the guy, you liked him and you let him hunch up on you. And then maybe one day at, I don't know, age 16, 17, you took your clothes off and you got pregnant. And so I don't think at that time with the butterflies and all that, you don't think about having a family, and you may even had it. You might those might have been the conversations. We gonna get married when we go grow up.
Yeah, right.
So you get pregnant, you have children, and now that young man, he's he has interest in other girls. I mean, just not you. You as a little girl, you got to take care of that child 24/7. I mean, they may share the child in different homes, their grandparents, and they switch it up. But a lot of times, those crushes, you don't stay together, you don't get married and live happily ever after. I don't really see a lot of those stories. You got a few of them you see on in a movie, but normally you don't.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you. I don't understand this business of what they're saying. I just wanted to bring it to your attention, Shar, because this
Uh-huh.
as a woman, you again, you and I have been been around for a minute. When I say a minute, we're both over 25. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So we talk about the day of the rotary phones and the lack of how news used to travel. You get, I think that's the point that you're saying. So it's not like that. If you found out something, that somebody would find out about it 5 minutes later, right?
Right, that didn't happen at that time.
Right. It didn't happen. Right. So if say since you live in Chicago and I live in South Carolina, unless with the prevalence of the internet now, it's easy for you to click on and say what's happening in South Carolina. So you can see that South Carolina was on fire for the last couple of days, right?
Right.
Now, if I took this same letter back then in the '70s, in the '80s, and sent it to you, when would you find out that South Carolina was on fire? What, at least a week later?
If not longer.
Nah, nah. So that's part of the argument that I'm having with you folks. Now, to the point of, I guess what some folks are trying to say, women should choose better, but it works both ways. And if to me,
And
go ahead, go ahead,
and
Sean.
how do you do that? I mean,
Right.
again, I'm just giving my narrative. If you're a teen, you start touching and feeling, and if you end up and not having the knowledge, knowing, well, he said, I know babies come from if he ejaculates in me. So he said
Mm,
he's not going to, and but oops, he did, or whatever happened, and you pregnant again. What happens? I mean, does your teenage mind say, we're gonna get married. I'm gonna go all the way with this guy. How, you don't think like that.
mm-mm. I know I didn't.
You just don't think like that.
I know I did not. And I'll be quite honest with you. No, I did not think that way. You what? Baby? Married? Not now.
Yeah,
No, no,
that
no,
I
no,
don't
no.
get.
No,
Yeah, so
no, now
and
did
that's
I?
why I said let's talk about as far as with age. If let's talk about the age. If you want to
Mm,
just start changing to, like you were saying, over 25, you just want to say 25 years old. Okay, you think a little bit differently now. And at that at 25, now you're more into maybe wanting a partner, wanting someone to date exclusively, but are we really doing that? At
mm.
25, I mean, think about a young man, all that testosterone,
No, no,
that girl, and then the
no,
girl, she's like,
no,
ooh, she see
no,
that guy and
no,
that
no.
guy, and
No, at 25, I know what I was doing at the age of 25. I was chasing skirts. I
not
wasn't
eight,
six.
just not one skirt.
No, I
Let's
said skirts. I said skirts.
Now let me ask you, like, look, so we're gonna go with an old name, Sally Mae. So Sally Mae was looking good,
Hmm.
but you saw Lucy down the street, and she looked good too.
Hmm.
And then Polly down the street, she looked good, and Linda
Hmm.
down the street, she looked good.
Hmm.
So it doesn't stop there. And let's say you get a chance to pursue a few, and you get a chance to do what you do. Well, something may happen.
Well, I know one thing for sure that there's been times I've gotten a flat out no, hell on, get on about my business. But then there's been other times I'm like, hey, okay. So it depends on the. I guess it depends on the particular woman. But I didn't chase skirt. I chased skirts.
Exactly. So I don't think that I'll just say under 25 our minds are like that.
Hmm.
Women or young men or young women.
That testosterone and that the estrogen combined with them pheromones. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try and fight it, it's there.
Yeah.
It is
So
there.
and
And
then you don't
I'm
have that
sorry, but the
money.
last time I checked,
Hmm. And we don't have the money at that age either. That's another thing. You know how hard it is to get through some things, and a child, oh my goodness. And what we gonna get married for? I got a nickel, you got 7 cents. How was that going to work? I mean, I don't get it. Your mic is, I don't hear you if you're speaking or trying to speak. So, but yeah, that I don't get. We don't think like that. And then let's say age 30. Okay, maybe we want to settle down at age 30. We got, now we may have a quarter. Okay. What direction we want to go, and do either one of us have children? Because we more than likely we're active at what, 18, 19, somewhere around there after school, if we even finish school. So after you finish that, start dating, continue dating. Once you get started, you're not going to stop. It's not like, okay, lost my virginity at 19, and I'm gonna wait until I finish school, get a career, or whatever. Life doesn't go that way. So again,
am I back?
when do yes, you're back now.
Right. Thank you.
So when do we actually get to a point where we stop? We don't. Once you get sexually active, normally you don't stop. So there's a possibility there's going to be a child between, I guess maybe as early as 16 up to
Hmm.
30.
I agree. I agree.
So
I know.
really, who's talking about matrimony
I know one thing for sure.
during that time?
And
They
until they
still out
put
there.
right, until they put me in that box. So, like Richard Price said, I'll try to make it heavy, if not hard, but I ain't give it up. When I get to that level, all right, just make it heavy, if not hard, please, God. That's just one more time.
But yeah, so I just say, hey, we're as humans, we're going to do what we're going to do. Things are going to happen whether we're careless or not. And then goes back to me not being argumentative. Now what?
Yeah,
I mean, now what?
you're
We
right.
gonna take care of those children that don't have fathers. We're gonna tell the fathers, we're gonna whatever, pull them by their collar or their ear and say, "Hey, come here. You have a child over here.
Mm,
Hey,
it's
Omar, you got a child over here."
not like they don't know, right? Umar.
I mean, come on.
ABT said she was going to come up here and talk about Umar, but I haven't really followed Dr. Umar pretty much. But I know one thing for sure: he ain't got that school done yet.
Come on, family. Bring them donations. Run them donations.
I say
Get on your
again.
PayPal.
I
Get on
say
your
again.
Cash App.
I say again. Cash App, the Frederick Douglass School of Wayward Boys. I say again. Come on, sisters. Come on, brothers. We can do this.
First black only school for boys. Oh boy.
Well, again, I'm not a LeBron James fan or whatever, but damn, Umar, you should have got enough money to at least by now with all the donations and all that. The school should be at least up and running. I can understand you saying we need donations to keep it running. There's a difference, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there, but I know look like it's not going to be happening anytime soon from some of
Like
the,
some
posts I've been seeing.
right, like some of the other things that we know that's been out there. Uh, we said it was going to probably get mature in 2059 or 2060, something like that.
Yeah.
Inside joke, right?
Yeah. They don't care.
But again, before we get out of here, Short, let me ask you one thing. What should be done if, in the community here, we hear these folks say we shouldn't tell on each other, but what should be done in a situation like was going here that this 5-year-old baby was killed by these animals? What should we do? Should we take the route of Jay Prince and not say nothing? Or should we take the route of me and hundreds of others and expose them niggas for who they are?
Yeah, I don't know all the story, but what's with the hush hush? Why wouldn't you expose that? Lives are being lost. So what's the problem?
I don't get it either. Again, I don't get the folks that are more talking about the man that lost his life. It's obvious he put himself in some harrowing situations. It's obvious that he put himself in situations that where he created enemies. You can't blame the child for that. You can't say that the child was a victim of circumstances, collateral damage. The child shouldn't have
Mm,
been part of collateral damage. These guys, these so-called gangsters, they want to hold up Scarface and Al Capone and all these other gangsters up in such high esteem. But if you go back and look at these gangsters, they never killed children. It wasn't until the day of what's the name of the movie, New Jack City,
mm,
that it was fashionable to throw a little baby in front of you to stop them bullets from smoking you.
mm.
Didn't we see that in New Jack City?
I got a story about New Jack City. I went to a drive-in to go see that on a date, and I didn't get a chance to see all the
Oh
movie.
well.
And I'll just leave it that way.
Well, ain't nobody was nobody watching the movie.
I really couldn't even tell you honestly.
We'll leave that right there.
Yeah.
You're right, Charles. I agree with that. Every American culture celebrates outlaw culture, especially white America. Now that's one thing you and I will always agree on, there, Faulkner. Case in point, I was just saying that the other day. Look how they look at how they did. What's the name? The guy that in Florida State that killed those young girls. Hey there, Taylor. How you doing? Look at all the folks that what's his name? John Wayne Gacy. How many white women wanted to actually marry this man while he was in prison? Look how many stories and many mystery movies have been made about Jeffrey Dahmer, the Menendez folks, Susan Smith. Y'all remember Susan Smith? Now you got Elon Musk and his crew of folks saying that they want to pardon Derek Chauvin. Sure. What you think about that?
That's to try to get people stirred up. And I
Boy,
say, stay away.
listen, I can guarantee you this. If they looking for a reason to start some shit, that'll be the best thing to do. Go ahead and pardon George. Go ahead and let Derek Chauvin walk scot-free.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, some kind of way, they never do a lot of times. So it's going to happen one way or the other.
Let me answer this right here. He says there's nothing special about black criminality when criminality is not actually celebrated and promoted by white people. The only difference is we become an American scapegoat of it. Well, again, Charles Faulkner, we explain all the movies about Al Capone, Bonnie and Clyde, Billy the Kid. Explain those movies. Those guys were outlaws. They were gangsters. Explain those movies, sir. If white America does not celebrate its trash. Explain those movies. Explain the miniseries about Jeffrey Dahmer, sir. Explain the thousands of miniseries about John Wayne Gacy. Explain all the different movies about the folks in the dude in San Francisco that was killing up them people. Although he was Richard Ramirez was his name. Well, I don't know if that's a backhanded compliment. That's why I read it that way, Charles. I don't know if that's a backhanded compliment or what you're saying is there's nothing special about black criminality. If that's the case, I can go. I can go to that side of the street. Okay, I'll go back and reread it. Okay, there's nothing special about black criminality when criminality is actually celebrated and promoted by white people. Okay, you're right. I did read it wrong. You're absolutely right. I did. So we're on the same page with that, Charles. No, you're right. I misread it. You're absolutely right. I did misread it. No harm, no foul, brother. No harm, no foul. Again, we're absolutely right on that same page. So if I misread it, I'm gonna leave it just at that. Thank you, there, Cassandra. Thank you, there, Charles. Again, you're again, like I said, folks. Yeah, we've been through. We see it. You see it on TV. You see it all over the place. To where white America, their heroes are criminals.
And they spend money on that. Think about the production. That costs money.
Absolutely do.
Wow.
Absolutely do. Absolutely do. Millie the Kid. What's that? Jesse James. The list goes on of criminals that white America holds in such high esteem. And you're right, Charles. There's nothing special about black criminality. A criminal is a criminal. It's just how we. I think I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover. So in some cases, we're just as guilty as white America. Wouldn't you agree, Charles? What do you think, Shar? In some cases,
Yeah.
we're just as guilty.
Yeah, 'cause we like some of the bad guys. What's that guy, that character called Loki? I thought he was hilarious in I enjoyed him. It's been a long some years since I watched. I can't remember the series at the moment.
I'm sorry, I was reading that chart. Say what you said again. I'm sorry, I was reading something.
Oh, I was saying that we like the bad guys sometimes, and I said me personally, I had liked this character called I think his name was Loki, and he was I think the evil brother.
Yeah, Loki was a mother. Yeah, he was. He was one of them snide, one of them. What kind of criminal would you say? He was one of them polite criminals.
Yeah, and that was funny to me. I liked him.
Yeah, I
I
know
thought
you
he was
talked.
great,
Right.
but so yeah, I guess we are guilty.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
guilty. I'm all right with it though.
right. We are. We are. But absolutely, we are. Again, another one of. Let me read this. What Charles said. Our Black American rap. Our Black. Let me make sure I can read it here. Our Black American rappers American? Yes, they are. So if you are a part of a culture, you're going to nickname yourself or relate to that, or I guess you meant or relate to that. Okay. Culture in the same way because it's just within your social boundaries. Well, I guess in a way, again, I can't disagree with you on that, Charles. You are a product of your environment. I think that's what you're describing. So if you are around a bunch of people that do criminalistic behaviors, I think regardless of the skin color, you will eventually pick up that type of going. So I don't think it. Let's see this. Again, Mel, you're right. As we went back to it before, and I explained it, the tip drill thing. You know, we go back to we see the ladies like Melissa Ford and all that. They're groundbreakers. So what's the name? What's the lady's name? Karen Steffens, is that her name? They call her Superhead.
I heard that name
Yeah.
before.
Look how many of our young ladies try to model themselves after that particular woman.
Mm.
Got to grab the bag. Y'all just change. Yeah, sometimes we just change the name of the degeneracy that we're doing. Now it's called getting the bag by any means necessary. I'm sorry for me. No, everybody has their own life. That's up to you. But
Yeah,
for
some
me,
boundaries. Hmm.
right? For me, I'd be quite upset at my daughter if she came and me and see, hey, Pops. Well, I don't have any daughters, so thank goodness for that. Hey, Pops, I'm on OnlyFans. Just thought I should let you know. What, Alex? You're in the background there. You want to join in the conversation? I see you're on mute still. Well, you
Oh, hey, I was waiting for Shar to finish talking.
oh, okay. You want
Yeah,
to add
All
something?
done.
You want to add something to the conversation, Alex? Go right ahead.
yeah, and like you said on the live stream that we did on Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
we uplift the bad in the community and we shun the good in the community as well. And
All right.
and the man in the video, you know, that was explaining what happened. Um, to me, I think when he said women who love the bad boys and stuff, here's the thing. To me,
Mm-hmm.
I think I think I think like they 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 to me, I believe that, you have women who grew up with abusive fathers who were abusive to their mothers.
Yep.
And when they see that, that's when they think that the bad boy, or as I would say, toxic man, is the ideal for them. And sometimes, you know, the women don't even realize that they were with a toxic man until after he does a 180 or as you have some people say, show undo his mask and everything, then that's when the toxicity comes out.
I agree with you, Alex. Sometimes you choose a mate, whether that's on both sides of the coin. You choose a male mate or you choose a female mate, and you just don't know. You're hoping that the person that you choose is good for you, and they want to uplift you, and they want to help you prosper, or vice versa, on both sides of the street. But sometimes we choose what we think is best for us, when actually it's not. There's no right way to say that you should choose better, and there's no right way to say you should have known better. It's just basically, once you get to learn a person. For me personally, I always say, if I'm around you for 30 days, I'm gonna figure you out. I pretty much got an idea of who you are. So you're right in that case, Alex. Sometimes these demons, they hide themselves pretty well. Women think that she's getting a great guy, and then she's turned out to get one of these guys that beat on her. So, Char, Alex, anything else y'all want to add into this before we close this on down here?
That's it for me.
I'm gonna let Shar go, and
That's it for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, go right ahead, Alex. Anything else you want to add to the? What do you think? I'll ask you this, Alex, before we get out of here. What do you think should happen in our community when we see what's going on? Do you think that it's best not to snitch, or do you think it's best to snitch, as they call it?
I think it's best to snitch, because for too long the cases of not only children but women, and uh, but women, and the men being unalived and no one talking, that right there, again, means that we uplift the ones who got away with murder within, with unaliving within the community. So I would say it's best to snitch rather than the other option, because the no snitching thing hadn't gotten us anywhere.
Right.
All it did was the sex trafficking of the women and children. And whenever a man unalives another one, all of a sudden, nobody ain't talking.
Right. Well, for me, I say it's best to, whether they want to call it snitching or whether they want to say it. And the reason why I say that it is because it gets rid of that element out of our neighborhoods. As long as that element is there to continue on doing what it's doing, hurting people, robbing people, selling drugs to people. Again, the guy that's on the corner selling a nickel bag or whatever, that's not my business, folks. It really isn't. But when you see, like in New Jack City, that a bunch of drug dealers took over an entire complex, and I'm just using this as for a reference point, somebody got to say something, or it's just going to get worse. The kids are not safe. The old folks ain't safe. You can't walk outside your house without possibly being a victim. You can't wear blue shirts. You can't wear red shirts. You can't wear your hat to the back. You can't wear your favorite snapback. You can't do this because these loose niggas is in our neighborhoods. And ain't but one way to get rid of them if they mess up. Tell on them. Get them out. Get them out. Will some people dare I say get harmed? I don't want to use the word collateral damage, but again, when you do, what are you willing to die for? What are you willing to sacrifice yourself for? It is what it is. If these folks are all right to set up shop in our neighborhoods and destroy it, why aren't you all right to set up shop and tell on them every time you see them fucking up? With that Jay Prince mentality of black men, the drug dealers, are the good men in our communities. Bring you a turkey or a goose or a ham. But in the meantime, as soon as they hand you the ham or the turkey or the chicken, I got that fire over here. What you holding? You got that fire. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I need to get on up out of here. Thank y'all so very much. Normally, I try to keep the stream to about 2 hours, but you know, I ain't had nothing to do tonight. Anyway, any last words before I get out of here, Shar? Last words.
Watch your 3, your 6, your 9.
That's right. Watch your 3, your 6, and your 9. Alex, what about you? Last words.
I agree with Shar, and also stay safe out here.
Yes,
Here, brothers and sisters.
Yes, indeed, folks. Keep your head on a swivel at all times. Like Shar said, and I always say it at my radio show, watch your 3, your 6, and your 9. And one thing for sure, ladies and gentlemen, the grace of day costs you absolutely nothing. Don't cost you nothing at all. Might change the way somebody's thinking. Might change the way somebody's living. Just with a simple hello. Try it sometime. Y'all get back with me and let me know how it works. Guarantee it. You'll say, damn, Mr. Music, you was right. You was right. You was right. Just saying hello to somebody. Put that smile on somebody's face. Now, I'm not saying go over there and ask the girl for a date. I'm just saying say hello. Damn it. But anyway, folks, if you're inclined to, check me out Sunday nights, 8 p.m. at the Music Cafe, playing music from the decades, 60s, 70s, 80s. Or you can check out some of the uploads here. YouTube got mad at me the other day, so I was doing a stream and they shut me down. I figured out what songs I can and can't play, so maybe a little bit later on this evening, after I calm down a little bit, I'll play a few relaxing tunes for you folks. So until then, y'all be safe, and we out here.